The studs come from the original that you have to take off. And the way to do that is you have to butt up the two nuts you have on it. You have to butt them up together really tight, and then crank off the nut on the stud. We did that already on the one, so the one's transferred over. So I have to get the other one over, then move the bracket over. So that's what we're doing right now. And we already got the new line, high pressure line, hooked to the back of the power steering pump, because it makes it a whole lot easier doing it that way. And if this thing's in the way, I'm just gonna bend it with pliers out of the way. This thing's scrap, like I said, I don't care. Okay, perfect. Didn't take too much convincing. I think I got it. Yeah, we got it. Damn. Looking good. Studs coming out. Okay, just needs more convincing. There. And see, this is what we just took off. Okay. We had to take it off because the new one didn't have it. We already did this one last night. Took it from the other pump and we're putting it on. So this right now, same thing. To prevent cross threadings, we're going to turn this counterclockwise until you feel it slip in. And then you go clockwise. Put a wrench on this flat here to prevent this from backing out the stud, because the stud has its own wrench flats, as you can see. We have to get a skinny 18 wrench in there, a little protrusion thing off of it. The other one's just flush, so that's why it's a little bit of a different setup. So I'm gonna put a wrench flat on this nut here, then impact the one off on the top. There we go. There, we got that top nut off. Okay, like we did before, turn it counterclockwise until you feel it slip in, and then turn it clockwise after to prevent cross threading. Like this. Okay, 18. Alright, so this is basically blue Loctite with thread sealant all in one. You buy it in a tube. And we're going to smear it on with our fingers and get it into the threads. That's plenty. I'll show you. Okay, just slipped in. Now we're going to go clockwise. That's plenty right there. And we're going to before. So we're just going to loosen it up. It's not even on that tight. It's just wrench tight. So we're in a rush to get it right is what we're doing. See how that looks now? And then these aren't screws, these are nuts. Okay. Just like before, go to the left counterclockwise on the studs until it slips on, and then go clockwise so you don't cross thread your stuff. Fresh power steering fluid on it to help lubricate it, which is this. This is compatible with my vehicle that I'm working on. This gets seated on it on the end after you dip it in your power steering fluid. And you're going to want this to be extra super careful. This is a super crucial part where it can you can end up damaging that O-ring or not seating it on properly. and this thing will leak and it'll ruin your pump and not rolled over itself. And then we're going to go ahead and tighten it back down. Then good if you try to go too crazy with that. That's plenty. Okay. All right, now we got this line on, and the reason why we put this line on now before we put the power steering pump in is this thing's facing away from you, and it's really hard to get these in and lined up by hand if you don't do this already before. Here, that metal line contraption that's laying there, that's the new line. And to this side here, the left, on my left, that's the old one. And they match pretty much identical. And we try to get OEM parts too, just putting that out there. They don't make an OEM part that I'm aware of, unless it's new old stock, to my knowledge. So the best I could get was this EDELMANN brand. I got all this stuff off of Rock Auto with my own money. So this is a filter that they recommend getting. It's like a universal filter. And we're going to be installing that as well onto the low pressure return line on this, because that's what it recommended. And I agree. We had the power steering pump out because we had to take the power steering pump pulley out to get the bracket out, which the bracket is right here. We were cleaning that up last night too. That was pretty gross. And we had to reuse the old power steering fluid reservoir, which is right here. We're going to do a better, even super clean, better cleaning of this stuff. But this came out pretty good. It's going to get even cleaner soon. That's the pump. They didn't have a GM OEM option. Otherwise, I would have bought that. Because that's always a million times better than something like this. But this is the options we had. So that came out of that power steering pump box. So if you're doing this kind of thing, if you didn't know, make sure you check your boxes for every little last bit of parts and stuff. See, this one has some stuff on it too. So we're going to set these all aside. Just doing this stuff here. It's kind of the tedious thing, getting like the twist ties and stuff off. All right, now we're going to show you where this stuff goes. This part is oriented facing the passenger sides and slide it into place. So there's right down here, if my finger's pointed at it, this little keeper. So this flat end, I'll show you. This little flat end goes into that. And these are plastic, so don't be too rough with it and you'll break stuff, you know. Okay, we got that pushed in, and then these lines got to whip up into here. So, well, not whip up, but gets like, they're going to go like basically up on the driver's side. We're pushing it towards the passenger side to make the clearance, and then we're going to bring them over once we get these drawn in the way they're supposed to be. Underneath your radiator. Okay. It should be showing you right in front of you. Okay, one of the lines, and then get the other one. This isn't that bad at all, guys. It's okay. That was going to be a zip tied in again anyway. Okay, this one has to go up over to here on the gearbox. We got to put the O-ring on it still, okay? There's a little area right here, open space. It's actually a pretty good setup. Right here, this is directly under the radiator, and it's those are those lines. They come straight through, and there's a wide open spot. You don't have to thread nothing. That's how that goes in. So let's look at this where I was talking about, see the gearbox, and then that one high pressure line. And the one over here, that's our low pressure. So that goes off to the reservoir. Nice that they made the fittings proprietary. so you can't put them in wrong or have to go back to your pictures or diagrams to make sure it's right. They made this pretty much idiot proof. They did a good job on this, making sure you don't like fold it over itself. Okay, now that it's on there, I'm going to go around the rim of it gently and firmly, pushing it to bottom it out all the way around 360. Okay, and we're making sure we're not dragging it on there and catching the lip of it or anything and ripping it or folding it over itself. It's real important. Okay, that's all good to go. And then you're going to start going counterclockwise and then clockwise to get this seated. Okay, we're going to get a wrench on there to finishing it. That should be good. The cylinder head's out right now, so keep that in mind. This thing sits off the stud with that bracket, so it's not going to be able to be completely mounted. It's probably just going to be hanging for a bit. So what we're going to do is just set it down on this cross member here until it's time to actually put it in when the cylinder head gets back from the machine shop. Oops. Be careful putting these in. Don't be bashing into stuff. Our 10mm ratcheting stubby. This fits perfect. If you can keep the fasteners in the holes where they came from, it'll make your life that much easier. It gets out somewhat, but it's not a ton of clearance, but it's better than what it was. And then remember, we're going to put these fasteners back in the holes. The main thing is when you get this lined up, it's making sure you're routing all your hoses right, so it's not getting cut up or caught in the serpentine belt or anything like that. Here's our O-ring. See if we can see it. It's not much, but real important. Okay, so this bottle, make sure you got a good grip on it and you just barely put it to the lip and the edge and tip the bottle a little bit. Oh, a little too much. That's okay though. We barely spilled anything. Frame. We massaged all the power steering fluid onto it so there's no dry spots. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in and watching. All right, we're going to sign off now until next time, guys.